What up, this is So So and Ugly with Detour ENT here at Focus TV Studios, and we are back with another video. And today we're talking all things Freaknik.
Freaknik.
And like I was telling you, I thought it was Freak. What I thought
Freaknik.
it was? Right, I said Freaknik. It's Freaknik.
Yeah.
Dang, I keep wanting to say that because that just sounds a little bit better.
It sounds a lot better though.
With the freak, but Freaknik because it's what freak picnic, whatever. Right. It's kind of like did like
so
that.
Actually, the origins of Freaknik is basically it was an organization that it was people that was going to these schools down south in Atlanta, and they wouldn't be able to go home for spring break or whatever though. So like they might live in Colorado or something like that. They didn't have the money to go home. So it's an organization that started this picnic just for those people to have a spring break. Mm-hmm. Now the Georgia Peach State, there's a lot of nice little things going on, and people from other words got to call the motherfuckers like, "Hey man, we got this motherfucking picnic coming down here."
Coming out here with the booties, with the titties out.
And two friends told two friends, and so forth and so on, and now we have a Freaknik.
Right.
You feel me? We got NBA stars, we got
rappers,
we got everybody. Niggas was Freaknik. It was documented that they said no tours, like how music goes in quarters. It's 4 quarters or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the first 3 months, nobody drops music. Nobody will go on tour until after Freaknik. Because niggas had to be there. Right. You had to be there.
Right.
But now, what's happening now is Hulu is supposed to drop a documentary based on Freaknik.
Now, did you see at all when it was supposed to come out? Because I've been looking and I ain't even seen it.
I'm not sure. I know it's going to do 2 million first day.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Easy. The problem is, now what's going on now is people in retrospect trying to cop pleas and cop out to this shit. Like, listen, man, I was young.
Right.
Because it's like images, like there's certain people who still got their pictures from that shit buried in their basement and under the cement like John Wick, and they got to break that shit open to bring this shit out because it was 30 years ago? The last Freaknik was 97? 99.
I was about to say 98. But yeah, around that time.
Last Freaknik was 99. So, that was 24 years ago. Mm-hmm. But the original one was like 30, 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm older, but at the same time, you got to think about.
He wasn't there.
You got to think 40 years ago, who was there?
Right.
It was y'all mamas and aunties. And they going to have some explaining to do. So now everybody is like kind of scrambling. Especially with that type of, if this shit would have came out like 2000 or something like that, where like content was free of people judging it and stuff like that, it could have got looked through as the lens of where it is. But now, and this you can't say shit, and everything is, it's a group that's going against everything that's like lewd or all that kind of shit. It's the motherfuckers copping please.
Well, I know my mama wasn't there. I know that for sure. She ain't really like to travel like that, so I don't got to worry about it. But I did actually see that it was a documentary that they came out with. It was like 2007 or 2004, but it was like on YouTube. I seen it. So I don't know it was like a legit one.
It was an independent creator who had some footage and shit like that.
Whatever like that. But yeah, I mean the people on there. Just one person I seen particularly, which, like I said, this is kind of like a little older, based off of like that older footage, was a police officer that he obviously he was on duty. He was supposed to be making sure no fights broke out or nothing like that. And he got the girl bent over in his front seat with her booty hole out. Like what?
It was like I said, I watched the doc, and like I got older, like, I was raised basically with my older cousins and shit like that. So I remember them like, nigga, we got to get this money, go to Freaknik. We got to go to, what I'm saying, in 94, 95 and shit like that. And they was coming back with footage like, oh, no, you got to go in the house, little dog. We got to watch this shit. Watch this, though. Like, with all things like lewd and what's the name and what people consider lewd, some people might think this is art or whatever. But you got to keep in mind, you need to, and it's an actual women's group that's suing or trying to block.
Oh, from
that's why the date is not announced, because it's like
it may never come.
It's some litigation. No, they gonna make it happen, because what's happening is like they talking about well, we didn't sign up to be in this shit.
So doctors and lawyers.
But see,
and your
people
councilwoman, you know,
right, yeah, they was busting it up and like nigga, it was a lot of booty hole action though. Like people spreading people's cheeks, a lot of that shit though going on. And these is like grandmothers now. You would never want to know that your grandma like that.
right?
You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? The thought, just
Right.
the thought is just like, no, we don't want to see Granny busting it up no like. But Granny wasn't always Granny. How the fuck you think you got here?
Exactly. No, for real.
But it's still up to them. Like it's up to the people in this doc, and it's so many people that's like scrambling. Like I said, it's a whole women's organization. I'm pretty sure whoever's heading that cause was busting it open. In 95 and 94, they was busting it open, shaking ass and all that shit though. And that's cool because I feel like as people, we elevate and evolve.
Right. No,
We
yeah.
different people. That's not the same person.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we gotta get through that little mucky area.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you know. But a lot of you people, why are y'all so surprised when y'all got 2-3 different brothers that's got different daddies and shit like that though? It's a lot of this shit kind of going on though. People was freaky and wild. You know what I'm saying? It get wild. It's still freaky and wild though.
Oh
You
yeah,
feel me?
you seen in Detroit? Well, we had a little good weather this week. About
man.
3-4 days of good weather.
Yeah,
Everybody was at Palmer Park. At,
I
crazy,
seen
talking about
Cheeks.
some Detroit Freaknik.
Like I said, look, no, but look, I don't want to go to that shit. That was dusty. That was like the Dusties. Like I don't know the actual Freaknik when we talking about when you got those pictures of Tupac, the Fab Five, and Puff and shit like that down there. That's where it's like real people. These people just freaky and they need something to do and they need a theme and an anthem. And like I said, that another thing based on that shit is like, yeah, I mean, like I said, y'all, people is people.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, man, look.
See, I'm the type of person, right, that, when you talk about like, it depends on what a person considers as lewd, right?
Right.
I mean, look, well, I'm not even gonna apologize, but I'm the type of person where like, okay, let's say a prostitute, right?
Right.
If that's something that she want to do, she want to sell her body for sex, okay. Now, it's a situation where it's a kid or like something like that, you being forced to do it. That's a different situation. But if it's a sane adult, she want to sell her body or he want to sell her body for sex, then who gives a crap? I might even say no.
No, you ain't selling the pussy.
No. I'm not. I ain't selling
But
nothing.
like, this is what I'm saying. It's just based. You ain't selling no pussy around me.
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
No. I said I might even participate. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
I might. Like I said, I'm getting older. I understand.
It's gonna be some expensive talking beforehand though, because I gotta make sure where you've been at a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh, like hold on. So you live on Harper, or
right. It's real expensive.
do you have a home?
Right.
When the last time you had a doctor's appointment?
Right. We're gonna do some observing here.
Can I see your last 2 pair of panties though? Like, you know what? She all like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even want your money.
Right. We done here, but
we done here. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's, as I say on this show a lot of times though, like especially like explicit and sexual is just based on your perception of life. Whoever you is, that shouldn't be. There's no standard on what's lewd, what's art, what's what's cool and what's not cool. You know what I'm saying? Being a good person is an extensive thing on that. Being a good person, being a good parent, stuff like that. We can say if a parent do some fucked up shit or whatever, but like how people choose to express themselves with sex and stuff like that, because that's not our law, basically. Like that's not even in nature, because that's some inside shit. Just like I had a girl one time, I'm like, let's swap phones. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, what would make that girl do that for you?
swap
like,
phones.
No. She seen a picture in the phone where a girl busting it wide open, doing all that shit.
Oh, okay. Right.
That was in them eras, though. She like, what would, this is a girl I'm talking to. I'm like, she like, what would make a nigga do that for? I'm like, well, I bring something out of her to where she feel comfortable and that's what she wants to do with me.
Right.
She ain't just walking around showing booty holes and pussies to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's the extensive me.
Because, sex in general, right? It's in the mind for women a lot, whatever like that. But what I'm saying
in the heart
is,
with women, more.
What I'm saying is that a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing certain things in sex because they get self-conscious. They start thinking too much and things like that. So when you get in an environment where you feel like there's a person that's not going to judge you about doing certain things, then a person busts it wide open. They are more open. You know what I mean? To do more stuff.
Yeah. Yes, Granny had her ass out because Granny was feeling good. They had the Seagram gin and the old E40s going, and Granny was feeling good. And the nigga she was busting it open with was a handsome young man or something like that.
But now I will say though, busting it wide open in broad daylight.
I just don't think, like, and being on. Now keep in mind, I'm from the east side of Detroit and grew up on the east side, right? We had Chandler Park. We had Freaknik every weekend. It was Freaknik. It got so bad. Like, the only reason Chandler Park is like right now how it is, and it's a nice kind of place. You mean,
what is it?
It's, they done invested a lot of money into it. It's basketball courts, all that shit. Nigga, we just had a park. It was just like a turnaround. Freak nasty. Like, some of that shit, when they put the video out, that's what made them shut the door on Chandler Park. So the sheriff started being out there and all that shit though. But this was every weekend. Right. From 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday to Sunday night at about 10, 11 o'clock. Because niggas got to eventually take their kids to school. Every weekend. So, like, you know me, I'm not judging nothing. I done seen plenty spread booty hole. I done seen this shit. So, like, it's not, but I understand because you know.
You did some booty hole work.
No, actually, I didn't. I done did some shit, whatever. I'm going to tell you how cold. I'm going to tell you, like, the documentary is out on Chandler Park, though. Y'all can look it up on YouTube. Chandler Park Gone Wild. It got so crazy with the shit. Do you know, it was a nigga that had a nigga had a van, and he put a sheet with the backdrop on it, and had naked bitches, and niggas was taking pictures with the bitches naked, grabbing their ass for $5, $10.
Oh, okay.
But they was doing it for free. He just was being an innovator.
Charging, right? He said, well,
he was an innovator. Like, no, niggas will pay for this shit though. We need to find those pictures that dog. Because a lot of people judging. That was y'all auntie in them pictures though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's trust and believe though. Like, all this dick and pussy stuff, and I be saying it. That sounds very harsh. And I said I'm finna start getting back raunchy on this pod. All the dick and pussy stuff, we need to leave that alone, bro. Because, like, you know what I'm saying? We need to stop judging that, though. Like, cause, you know, it's make people happy and shit like that. And, yes, if you're a grandma and you got to explain to these children why you was butt naked or bending over, shaking your ass. And then, oh, yeah, before we get off, now, me, myself, I watched the documentary you was talking about, right? And I'm like, yeah. It made me feel, I'm like, wait a minute now, this shit is getting a little. I start buttoning it up because it started getting a little rapey. It was a little rapey. It started off, people was fun, free loving, shaking their ass out the windows and all that shit though. Then once it started, the later the years start going, you start seeing niggas actually grabbing women's shirts and opening them up and pulling women out of car, bending them over. I say, wait a minute, brother, this ain't free will.
Oh yeah. You know, a lot of people down there was intoxicated probably.
Yeah, no, like everybody was drunk. You got to be drunk to be in that shit. It started getting a little rapey. Like, so before this Hulu documentary, if y'all want to go on YouTube and watch it, watch that one. And towards the end, you're going to be like, yeah, I see why they shut that shit down a little bit. Like, y'all couldn't keep it just smacking the girl in the ass. Right. All that shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to know where them niggas got all that footage, though.
Like, who gave it to them?
Yeah.
Who gave it to them?
Them niggas had to be at every Freaknik.
Sure, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to look at it. And I am curious about what is going to happen once it releases. Who gonna get fired? Who gonna do this? Who gonna do that?
I don't think nobody, like, you talking about some shit 30 years ago, bro. Like, no, the last one was in 99, bro. That was 24 fucking years ago. I done found God since then. Yes, yeah. Like, this whole thing. I don't spread my booty hole for nobody but Jesus.
Right. Good.
I spread booty hole for Jesus. This is gonna be a crazy, this episode. we wild.
Right.
That's what everybody go to. They cop it, please. For, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want people to judge you for that. Like, and people, it's kind of hard to explain if you, especially like if you work in corporate America and you don't know these people and shit like that. They was down there too. They was just on the other end, showing booty holes to the officer or whatnot.
But I definitely think those people are kind of warranted to sue if, you know, they want to, because I did not give you permission for this video. But it was, I wasn't. They saying that the suit is not gonna hold up because I wasn't filming you. I was filming. I wasn't filming you. That tree.
Right, exactly.
You just
so
happened.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I had free will to do that. So,
I guess I see that. But, well, you know, I pray for y'all, and I don't even really pray like that.
That shit crazy.
Yeah.
That shit wild, B.
Just be prepared.